Good evening, Downfield readers. This is Jeff D with Downfield Read. Just wanted to put out a quick video tonight. Guess what tonight is, besides Thursday night? It is the first real night of NFL football, albeit it is preseason. We do have a slate of games on TV tonight for all of us fanatics that are out there who have been yearning for NFL football for a while. We got a little taste of it last week with the Hall of Fame game and the Arizona Cardinals and the Carolina Panthers. But that is just the minuscule little hors d'oeuvre of the season. Tonight, we actually have a slate of games that we are hopefully going to be watching, and we're going to be finding out quite a bit of stuff from these teams, not just from a fantasy football perspective, but I will dive into that just a little bit. There are a couple of games that are on my docket for best games, but there's a couple other things that I want to talk about as well. So first and foremost, as you can see on the screen, this is the second year for the Cognoscenti fantasy football season. And we have a slate of excellent teams. If you haven't been seeing the posts on either X or Instagram or Facebook or anything like that, please feel free. Go ahead and like and subscribe and all that fun stuff and follow me there. That way you'll never miss a moment of great fantasy football content. And when I say that, I mean that we have some of the best players in the fantasy football world that are playing with us today. I might be over-exaggerating that a little bit, but I do want you to get involved with this because it is a fantastic league. Just to give a little backstory on it, got tired of playing regular fantasy football leagues with people that would drop out after a few weeks. So went out and created this league to get some of the best guys out there. And that's exactly what we did. And when I say that, let me drop a few names for you here. We've got Joe Frick from Fantasy Sports Advice Network. If you don't know Joe's work, take a look on FSAN. He's a great guy too. Met him at the Fantasy Football Expo. So he is a fantastic new addition to our fantasy football team. We've got Sean Pettinotti from the Coach's Desk, and he is a returning member. He's been on a couple of podcasts with us so far this year. Wonderful content from him as well. If you haven't listened to him, very analytical, gets deep in the weeds, looks downfield, if you will. He is back with us. We have Zach from Fantasy Football Data, and Zach is our returning champ. He won the whole darn thing last year, beat me in the championship game. So, Zach, I am looking for a little bit of a redemption season against you this year. We have returning member Matthew Montgomery from Football Guys. This guy, another individual that I met at the Fantasy Football Expo, super fun guy, really knows his IDP. So if you've got questions about IDP, if you're in one of those leagues, go ahead and ask him, look him up. He's got a championship belt to prove that he is the guy that should be giving you the advice there. We have Nick from Roll Coverage Pod returning for a second season. We have Codeman from Ballers and Briefs, again, returning for another season. And he was a playoff team last year, unfortunately, bounced in the first round. And I can't remember if that was me or if it was Fantasy Football Data who ended up taking him out. But I know that he is eager to get back again this year as well. Jacob from Fantasy Football Know-It-All. And he is the fourth team, including myself, to round out the four playoff teams from last year that will be rejoining the cast as well. We've got some newcomers in here as well. B-Smoke, if you're not familiar with him, he usually does some stuff with Uncle Merce and Patrick Pucci. He was in the Patrick Pucci Bowl last year. He's putting together another league this year. And the Hall of Famer, Greg Kellogg, from also the sports affiliation, fantasy football guru, fantasy football god, whatever you want to call it. He's been doing this for so long, but a wonderful, wonderful guy. I'm so happy that he could actually be part of our league this year. We've got Isaac from the Football Pod, another new member. I look forward to seeing what those guys, him and his partner, have to come up with this year. I'll be watching them intently as they give out their fantasy football content. And then we have Top One Trent from Top One Football, and Trent was in our league last year as well. All of these guys, I mean, you can kind of just across the spectrum here. If you're following some of these guys, if you're following none of these guys, you really should, especially if you're into fantasy football. They all give different perspectives, and I guess that is really what you should be looking for. Everybody will come out with their different strategies about fantasy football. what you should do, what you shouldn't do, how you should draft, what you should look for, handcuffs, no handcuffs. They'll give you great advice on if you're in a 10-man league versus a 14-man league, if it's a no PPR, half PPR, a full PPR, all of these different situations and scenarios, they will go over in their regular podcasts and giving out advice as well. So just going to share my screen with you real quick. This is the setup that we've got. And I really would, we're doing this live, and we are just under 3 days away from doing this fantasy football draft for this league again. It will be happening 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time on Sunday coming up. And I would encourage anyone, I'm sure a lot of these guys are going to be streaming it. I'm going to be streaming it. But you can join, you can watch, you can see how we're drafting. You might get some banter in there as well. I'm sure that you will. Plenty of guys that are going to be sniped. You'll get some fantasy football advice along the way. And I am just going to share this real quick because I want to bring up what our draft looks like. Shameless plug for the Cognoscenti League. So our draft this year, this is what it looks like. And Joe was not pleased to get the first round draft pick this year. Sorry, buddy, but that is what you got coming up here. So, and then we've got Codeman from Ballers and Briefs drafting number 2. Sean Pettinati drafting at 3 with the coach's desk. We've got Roll Coverage and Nick drafting at number 4. Trent at Top Fantasy 1, draft number 5. Yours truly at number 6. And I really do not like the 6th spot this year. We can get into that in just a little bit here. I'm going to go over the first round rankings that I have put together, just in case you were wondering. And then we've got Zach from Fantasy Football Data drafting right after me. We've got B-Smoke at number 8, Matthew Montgomery at 9, Isaac from Fun Football Podcast. Greg is drafting at number 11. I've already seen what he can do in his beat a Hall of Famer league when he was drafting number 12. I think he actually likes drafting at the end spot of these drafts. And then we also have, as I mentioned before, Jacob from the Fantasy Football Know-It-All. So this is your draft. This is what you have to look forward to. Please come and join us. Like I said, it is Sunday at 6 o'clock Central. And that's what we've got going on for Sunday. So as I had mentioned before, or as I had just mentioned right now, I'm going to share with you, since we are getting into, not share across the screen here, but I'm going to share with you my first 12 picks. If you go by rankings, some people go by rankings, some people go by tiers. I think it's great to look at both of them just in case, the draft doesn't quite fall your way. My own personal rankings that I put out there, and this is for a half PPR league. And this is what we would call a standard league of 7. So you've got your 1 quarterback, you've got your 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex, 1 defense, 1 kicker, and then a handful of bench players as well. So that's the kind of half PPR league that we're going to be doing. My number 1 pick this year is Jahmyr Gibbs. Told you before that, Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson, it's really close between the 2 of them. You're splitting hairs. If you get the number 1, number 2, it's almost like you want to have that number 2 pick just so somebody else can make that decision for you. But number 1, I've got Jahmyr Gibbs. I just think that his upside this year is going to be a little bit more so than Bijan Robinson. In the past, Bijan has had Tyler Algier behind him, and he's been putting up a lot of numbers. Like Bijan is putting up, 300 carries per year. I think that's, you're not going to want him to actually get more than that. Otherwise, you're looking at a burnout for the following season. But I like Jahmyr Gibbs not having David Montgomery being in the backfield with him. They've got a lot of weapons. It's the second reason why I like Jahmyr Gibbs better. The offense for the Atlanta Falcons is just a little bit iffy, in my opinion, as far as who their quarterback is going to be. Is it going to be Tua? It sounds like it is. I think they actually announced him as the starting quarterback for the Falcons. At what point in time might we see Michael Penix? At what point in time does that team get bounced out of the playoffs or they're not playoff eligible anymore? I just don't know if they're going to have what it takes to actually make that long run. So by the time that you get into your playoffs, maybe they're sitting people based on injuries or sitting on just kind of reserving them, that kind of stuff. So I don't really care for the offense as much in Atlanta as I do Detroit. So Jahmyr Gibbs, my number 1, Bijan, number 2. My number 3, and this one was close in the beginning, Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is the best wide receiver that I can throw out there. The guy is just clutch. Number 1, he's never been injured. We know what kind of a wide receiver he is. He's fast, he's strong, he's got great hands, and he's got a very good quarterback is throwing him the ball as well. We all know that Cincinnati's defense is still kind of questionable. Sure, they added a guy, they lost a guy, but that defense, until they can prove it, they might have to put up 40 points every game, and that means a lot of passes coming to Jamar Chase. Obviously, I do like Joe Burrow. If he can be healthy, that's the one question mark over Matthew Stafford, who would be throwing the ball to Puka Nacua. Puka still looking at a potential suspension, and it seems like every time the guy gets hit, they got to scrape him off the turf. So that's why I like him a little bit more than Jamar Chase. That actually might change as we get closer to the regular season. Again, determining if he is going to be suspended or not. That could drop him a few more picks down. I would not hesitate to put my number 5 pick in front of him, and that is Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think he is highly underrated. He does definitely need to be considered mixed in with these top 3 guys as even a potential number 4. If you're a little bit shaky on Puka, you want to go wide receiver in that position still, I would go JSN. Still much to prove for him. I think he's going to put up very similar numbers to what he did last year. And here's where I get a little sketch. I don't like picking at number 6. I do have Christian McCaffrey currently at number 6. And obviously there are a lot of concerns. He had a lot of touches last year. He's been injury prone. And look what's going on with the San Francisco 49ers right now with all of the injuries. Is he going to have a team that actually is able to be placed around him? Mike Evans is hurt. Ricky Pearsall is out for the year. They had to bring Deebo Samuels back. Like, what is going on with this team? George Kittle is coming back from an Achilles injury. So is Christian McCaffrey a safe play at number 6? Maybe, maybe not. I wouldn't hate you if you disagreed with me. But right now, at my number 6 is Christian McCaffrey. A very close number 7 is Amon-Ra St. Brown, the sun god from Detroit. And again, another Detroit Lions player making it in here into the top 12 outside of Jahmyr Gibbs. Why is that? Well, that must mean that the Lions are expected to put up a lot of points this year, and they are. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think that's a very safe bet at number 7. At number 8, I've got Jonathan Taylor. Might be a little bit of a question mark. It sounds like Daniel Jones is going to be coming back, though. So I'm not real scared about that situation happening. A little bit more iffy as far as the wide receiver situation that they've got going on right now. Obviously, they don't have Michael Pittman anymore. They got Josh Downs is there. Alec Pierce still yet to play, but they do have a great tight end in Tyler Warren. I think they're going to be reliant on that running game quite a bit there in Indianapolis. So I like Jonathan Taylor at number 8. At number 9, I got Justin Jefferson, and he has surprisingly been going later and later and later in the draft, or at least the mock drafts that I've been a part of. In the last one that I was at, he actually went number 12. I don't know if people are scared of Kyler Murray getting that starting spot, but you have to admit at this point in time, Kyler Murray is the better option than J.J. McCarthy there. They do have a couple of above average running backs in the backfield, but I think that they're going to be able to spread that ball around quite a bit. In Minnesota, that could be part of the scare as well. Jordan Addison, Juwan Jennings, TJ Hawkinson is coming out a year removed after his last injury. Last year, not great. This year, we should see some improvement from TJ. But I do like Justin Jefferson right there. I don't think that Kyler Murray has had a weapon like him in his entire career, or an offensive setup, a group of guys that have been that good in his entire career. So I do like Justin Jefferson at the number 9 spot. I think Kyler Murray is going to take advantage of him. CeeDee Lamb comes in at my number 10, and CeeDee has been slipping down a little bit. I think he started off probably number 6, number 7, kind of in that Jackson Smith-Njigba, Amon-Ra St. Brown kind of category. But the more that we're hearing about George Pickens, sounds like George Pickens is having a great preseason there. CeeDee Lamb still got to be considered the wide receiver number 1, but it does look like there is going to be kind of a split. Maybe it's wide receiver 1A, wide receiver 1B. But with CeeDee Lamb, just taking him down a little bit, maybe on the back half of round number 1, you can pick him up. At pick number 11, I've got Drake London in Atlanta. And again, the second player from Atlanta making the board. And this is completely different because Atlanta is not really expected to pick up a lot of points this year. Maybe it's the fact that they are in kind of a weaker division in the NFC South, playing against teams like Carolina, Tampa Bay, New Orleans. That could be a factor in there as well. Drake London, obviously, I'm not going to throw any shade on him. He's one of the best wide receivers in the game. Any other team, he might be a top 5 pick. But in Atlanta, I will still take Drake London at number 11. And then number 12, I have James Cook. And James Cook has been a guy that has been going mid-second round. I think he's a value, especially if you've got that number 12 pick. If you like the running back situation here, you go James Cook and you turn right back around and you get Chase Brown. And those are two offenses with Buffalo and Cincinnati that are both expected to put up a lot of points this year. So kind of give you a little bit of a dip into maybe even round number 2 that we're not going to get that highly involved in. I'm going to try to keep it short tonight. We talked about fantasy football here a little bit. I also want to talk about the games that are actually on TV today and the things that you should actually be watching for in tonight's games. Thank God that these games are back. We've got 4 games that I'm really excited in watching tonight. The first one is the Lions and the Bengals. And really the big question for me is, we kind of talked about it in the beginning here, with the running backs that you're going to take, number 1, number 2, right? So whether you get Jahmyr Gibbs number 1, or you get him number 2, I'm not a big believer in handcuffs. I don't go out of my way to get a handcuff for a running back, but I think if the position calls for it, and the guy is right there, maybe you're looking at, round 13, round 14, something like that in the latter rounds, where backup running backs are considered more of a valuable piece than a wide receiver is. I do like to see who's going to be the backup running back studs for both of these teams, obviously. Not just Jahmyr Gibbs, but I did mention Chase Brown, who should be late first round, early second round draft pick here. And both of them have kind of question marks as far as their backup running backs. So during the preseason, this is something that you're going to want to watch for when you're drafting these guys. So in Detroit, you've got 5th-year vet from Kansas City, came over, like I mentioned before. Montgomery is gone. He's a starting running back now for the Houston Texans. So what did Detroit do? They went out. They got a decent backup running back, Isaiah Pacheco. He's a 4th-year guy coming over from Kansas City, or 5th-year guy coming over from Kansas City. Is it going to be him, or is it going to be 2nd-year back Sion Vaki? So Vaki, not a whole lot out there. This is why the preseason is important. Isaiah Pacheco is actually banged up at this point in time, so we really get to see what Vaki can do if he's going to be the primary backup behind Jahmyr Gibbs, or if that is going to be Pacheco. And honestly, I don't think it matters a whole lot. We saw kind of a 50-50 ratio between Gibbs and Montgomery last year. I think Gibbs, and this is why I like him a little bit better than Bijan, for the amount of points that Gibbs put out last year, he's going to get the ball more often. He's going to get targeted more. He's going to have more carries. So I don't see a whole lot. But if you're taking an early pick on one of these guys, any first-round running back for that matter, you're really going to want to grab their backup running back, or try to make some kind of a conscious effort to grab the running back in a later round. Again, don't reach for them. Take them where they're falling. Look at a lot of ADPs. Look at a lot of projections for where these guys might be falling to. And if one just happens to fall in your lap, if it's something like, hey, you know what, I could take Tyrone Tracy, or I could take Isaiah Pacheco. I drafted Gibbs. I'm probably going to lean toward Pacheco in that matter. So same thing with the Bengals, though, right? They've got the same kind of a situation. Who's going to be the backup behind Chase Brown? And Chase Brown, obviously, he's got more of a workhorse type of position. Started off a little bit slower last year, really came on and showed what he can do in that number 1 running back role. I don't think he loses any steam there. I think he gets the vast majority, again, of these carries like Gibbs is going to get. But is it going to be the soon-to-be 31-year-old Samaje Perine, who I think is in his 2nd or 3rd stint with the Cincinnati Bengals? Or again, is it going to be another 2nd-year back in Taj Brooks? And hopefully we see a little bit of Taj Brooks tonight. I'd like to see which one is going to take over. Not a whole lot of running backs. I think Samaje Perine is going to be 31 next month or the month after that. Not a lot make it to 32. And the only 32-year-old running backs that I think that are worth mentioning, obviously Derrick Henry in Baltimore, and then you've got Aaron Jones in Minnesota. I think those are really the only 2 guys up in that range. They don't last very long. So at some point in time, Cincinnati is going to have to find a guy to back them up. And even more so watching the Arizona game tonight, right? And I'll get to that in just a little bit. They've got 4 running backs on there. They're not going to be able to keep all 3. They have Jeremiah Love. They got Tyler Algier that they took over from Atlanta last year. Obviously, they've got James Conner. And then they've got Trey Benson. Well, who's the odd man out? Maybe James Conner. That would be my pick anyway. I think James Conner, just because he's a little bit older, he has had a history of injuries. Maybe he becomes some kind of a backup for another team that their backup just doesn't pan out. You could see him going to a team like Cincinnati just for a backup type of role. So I'm looking forward to that kind of a situation. I'm looking forward to that when I'm watching those games, the Lions versus the Bengals. Second game that I'm interested in a lot is the Packers versus the Steelers. I'm really interested to find out how the Packers, who had a flooded wide receiver room last year, they get rid of Romeo Doubs. They get rid of Dontavian Wicks. Now they've got their top three, right? They've got Christian Watson. They've got Reed. They've got Matthew Golden. These guys are going to be their top three guys, but who is going to fall in underneath those wide receivers to fill in behind those guys? Who might be a potential pickup as far as wide receiver in that high-flying Green Bay Packers passing offense? Also, is Marshawn Lloyd a viable backup for Josh Jacobs if he should get suspended? We already talked about Puka Nacua with the possibility of him being suspended. I think Josh Jacobs is another one that you have to watch out for if you're going to draft him early. He's typically going in the second round as well. Who is his backup going to be? And is Marshawn Lloyd going to be somebody that you want to take a flyer on just in case? It's almost kind of like a Stephon Diggs or Deebo Samuel before they got to their teams. Drafting these guys when they were free agents, you can take a late round flyer on these guys and they might pan out. For the Steelers, we get our first look at second round rookie wide receiver Jeremy Bernard, and we get a look at third round rookie quarterback Drew Aller. So these guys, Drew Aller from Penn State, that's one that I'm really looking forward to. Again, I'm a Ravens fan, so I want to see what the future of Pittsburgh looks like. But those two guys, I think, are really going to be important to the development of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Steelers take it a little bit of a step back this year, but they do have the potential of being a good young team coming into next season, depending on what the development is and what that looks like for these individuals. So that's what I'll be looking at for these guys as well. Third game that I really like is the Chargers and the Texans game. For the Chargers, how will the new Mike McDaniel's offense look? I'm really excited to see what he's going to do there. What are we going to see out of Keaton Mitchell and Kamani Vidal? Who's going to get more touches? What kind of formations is he going to put it in? The guy's an offensive mastermind. He always has done his best work as an offensive coordinator when he's calling those play shots. Maybe not so much as a head coach in Miami, which is why they let him go. But really looking forward to see what he can do with that Chargers offense. They've got a lot of great weapons there. They're stacked at the tight end position as well. They've got multiple options there. So that'll be fun to watch with the Chargers. And then with the Texans, and also with the Chargers, Trey Lance is probably going to end up playing, but maybe you didn't even know. Trey Lance is their number 2 quarterback behind Justin Herbert. So let's see how much he can develop underneath that Mike McDaniel's offense. From the Texans, I'm interested to see what the defense is going to look like. Obviously, they've been touted as the best defense that you can draft in fantasy football. They are the DST number 1. I would like to see what their depth looks like as well. I'm not sure if we're going to see a whole lot of starters in this first game, but I'm interested to see what the depth in the defense looks like and how that wide receiver room shakes out as well. You've got a lot of question marks with injuries from their starters. I think it'll just be interesting to see how CJ Stroud, if he ends up playing tonight, that running back grouping, David Montgomery, his first year down there, mentioned him before with Woody Marks. Let's see how that gets going. And then my fourth and final one is the Cardinals at the Raiders. Cardinals, I want to see more of that new look offense. Like we said before, they played in the Hall of Fame game against the Carolina Panthers, and they really put on a show. So I want to see more of that new look offense with rookie running back Jeremiah Love that they drafted in the first. They drafted Chase Basantis, offensive guard, in the second. They drafted Carson Beck, who had a great Hall of Fame game last week. So I want to see more of them and see if that was just a fluke, or is it something that, again, kind of like the Steelers, they have something to look forward there in the future. For the Raiders, how about number 1 draft pick Fernando Mendoza? I think everybody wants to see how he's playing right now. How did Kirk Cousins beat him out? Is it something that they just want to develop him a little bit more, or does he really look kind of shaky in that Raiders offense? Clint Kubiak is obviously the new head coach. I want to see, again, we're talking about backups for running backs. Mike Washington Jr. has been going a little bit later in the draft. He's going to be Ashton Genty's backup this year. And then that wide receiver crew that's really not getting a whole lot of attention. Trey Tucker is going a lot later than he probably should have, being a number 1 wide receiver there. Is Brock Bowers going to play? Personally, I probably wouldn't put him in there at all. But you really want to see how these other guys are going to pan out. Coming off of the being the worst team in the NFL from last season, I like the fact that Clint Kubiak is a new coach. I think that could create a start for the Las Vegas Raiders as well. So that's what we're looking forward to. And again, I'm going to plug it again. Please join us for the Cognoscenti League draft. I wouldn't call it a draft party, but we are going to be there. We're making sure that everybody is going to be live for this draft. It should be a lot of fun. You should be able to ask us a lot of questions too. So why did so-and-so get drafted there? How come he's not going here? All that fun stuff. Any kind of questions that you would have, you're going to watch 12 professionals basically draft their league in what I would call a standard 0.5 PPR league. It'll give you a good idea, again, of where players are going, really from people who know or people who have been paying attention, watching the ADPs, watching the projections, put out their own projections of how these players are going to do. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. We're almost at that half an hour mark. I want to thank you all very much. Please continue to watch us Sunday night, and then Tuesday night we'll be back next week, and probably Thursday night again. And again, hit that subscribe button, like it, make comments. That's the only way that we can actually get out there. Thanks for joining me tonight, and we will see you soon. Thank you very much.